Is it disrupting or is beneficial to the industry? Please, Mr. Singh.
Yes. Before jumping into the conclusions, let me just go back to the in time when the fintech was emerged very quickly into the financial industry. So my speech might be a little bit longer than Mr. Soka, so please bear with me. So I'd like to start with the questions. What is fintech? And how it became so popular? And it become the common threat to conventional financial service providers, especially commercial banks. And when the first time I heard fintech, it was back in 2009 at one of the international banking convention. In one session, the fintech was briefly mentioned and introduced as a sort of new trend in banking industry. It was quite interesting, but I didn't pay much attention at that time because it was year 2009. If the audiences remember, that was the time for the global financial crisis. So instead of paying attention to the fintech, I was quite busy cleaning up the aftermath of financial crisis. And then in between 2012 and 2013, when I started to work for the bank holding company and look around to find that fintech is everywhere. Even though at the time, mostly the speculations and positive expectations. But what happens now is the fintech is creating a new industry. And every year, globally, tens of billions of dollars are invested in the fintech companies. So created many fintech unicorns worth over $1 billion, such as Stripes, Robinhood, Cabbage, and Credit Karma. The list can go on. So what makes fintech grow so quickly? And trying to answer this question actually means a lot to me because it gives me an idea on how to deal with this new industry as a banker. I think people accept and welcome fintech as an alternative to something that they didn't like for a long time, but had to use it because there is no other alternative. And then there was the global financial crisis in 2008, when banks even lost trust as a bank from their customers. But on the other hand, fintech players gained momentum to quickly grow their presence in financial service industry, while banks were occupied with mostly financial recovery and tons of new regulations they should comply, which actually made it even more difficult for people to access the bank services and products. And naturally, the more customers turn their back away from the bank and switch to more convenient, user-friendly fintech alternatives and the new services. If you look at your slide, maybe the audiences from the commercial bank doesn't like it. It's the two kids. Just let me read it for you just in case. So one kid says, "You've never played banking? It's easy. First, you give me the ball, and then I charge you every time you want to play with the ball. I also charge you if you want to give the ball to someone else. And a small monthly fee for holding onto your ball." So it's, well, of course, it's a joke. But at the same time, it's a fact that people, more or less, one way or the other, have this kind of negative perception on bank. Not only in the more advanced countries and the other part of this world, surprisingly, it is also true in Cambodia. Early last year, PPCBank worked with one of the global market research firms to conduct a survey on banking behavior. And one of the findings was that 75% or 3/4 of bank users in Cambodia feel frustrated on bank services, no matter which bank they use. Many reasons maybe: transaction time, complex documents required, unkind errors, and so on. So hate it or not, we in financial services industry have to deal with fintech these days. And the solution from a bank perspective could be very simple. Either learn from them or work with them. The best practice you can find in successful fintech players is how they satisfy their customers, how they design their user interface around customers' taste and needs. In other words, they know how to make customers happy. So banks are supposed to benchmark those fintech players frequently to enhance their services. One of the benchmarks we have done in Korea was on the Kakao Bank, which was the first internet-only bank built on most popular messenger platforms in Korea. During their first year, they raised 6.3 million customers in a single year, which is actually around 15% of the total banking population in Korea. So we benchmark their customers' onboarding and engagement process. So unlike the benchmarking, the collaboration with the fintech companies requires more efforts and preparations than benchmarking. So the collaboration with fintech companies requires more efforts and preparations than benchmarking because commercial banks' IT legacy is substantially heavier and complicated than fintech applications. But if you are able to figure out how to combine bank and fintech services together, customers will enjoy the best of the two different worlds. And eventually, more and more people will enjoy the benefits of financial services and products. So how I see fintech, especially in Cambodia, I see them as an enabler, not disruptor. Enablers of user experience, enablers of financial inclusion, and enablers of SME-driven economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Singh.